Hello everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back with an interesting video for you. Today we are going to continue on the Pathfinder system, phase 1. We are going to be talking about block 6, module 2. We're going to be talking about cooking implements or food preparation. Now for this section I'm going to add 2 tools to the kit here. I'm going to add a push knife here. This is a curved blade. And I'm also going to use a Mora hook blade. I'm going to use these to make a primitive spoon out here in the field. Now, can you make a spoon without these? Absolutely. But it's a lot longer of a process, and I'm also going to be using my knife for that matter. But it's a lot longer process if you don't have these tools that make it simple, because you might have to use fire and coals and stuff like that. When I was out gathering my material to make my spear, I picked up this piece of tamarack specifically for this task. This thing is big in diameter, and the reason I chose this is because I'm going to use this for some of my implements right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing, and I'm going to make a spatula and a spoon. And I'm noticing that this thing has kind of an oval shape to it. I'm going to put this thing right in the center here in the back, and I'm going to baton through this piece. This is a hardwood, remember? Very tough material, very durable piece of wood. I think this will make some excellent cooking tools. Okay, so there we have 3/4 of the way through. Let's pull this apart. I think that's going to give me some good pieces of wood. Right there, I'm going to rip that off. And one of these again is going to be a spatula and the other one's going to be a spoon. So I'm going to set the spoon down, and I'm going to go about 3/16 of an inch thick. But that's looking like a nice piece of wood. This piece of wood right here, this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to do the same thing again here in a second, because I'm going to make my spoon. But this piece is going to be, and you notice I'm batoning into a piece of wood. I'm not batoning over a rock. Okay, so this piece is going to be my spatula. I'm going to try to bring off a little bit more material to thin this out a little bit more towards the bottom. So far it's looking good. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Look at that. Okay, so that's what I wanted. That's going to be a nice flat piece. We're gonna trim that down, and that's going to be our spatula. That's going to work out pretty good. So now I kind of have to take a piece of coal here out of the fire. What I want to do is I want to kind of roughly draw the shape of the item that I want to make. Okay, so I want to kind of come up like this, and then this is going to be handle down here. So that gives me an idea of what the piece is going to look like. We can also use our Baco a little bit if we want to create some stops. What I mean by stops is areas of the wood where if you baton down here, it'll stop right here. So it won't go past that point. So we could do that on both ends. Something like that. That's close enough for me. So we're going to follow the grain of the wood. We're going to come up to approximately where we think it'll be, or we could come right down here and punch straight in right here with the back of our baton. We could punch in like that, and what that does is that allows us to twist our knife, and we can kind of pop that out, you see. So I'm going to try to do that. See that? I was able to pop that section out. That stopped that, or should I say that saved me a lot of work. So there we have it, just like this. And of course you can use these other pieces for other implements if you choose to, because I already have a spoon that I'm thinking about, and I'm going to just baton down on it and try to get that shape that I'm looking for, just like that. Just like that. Good. Now that gives me a rough idea of what I need to do. It's all just a matter of taking it down and getting it down to where you want it to be. Take your knife and stick that baby in there like this. You can pull against it. So you can kind of pull against it like this. That'll help you, especially when you're trying to cut material off. You want to make one end thinner. You just come like this, just pull. See, it pulls big sections of wood off. So we're just going to make a spatula for handling food. We're just coming like this. We're just drawing against our knife. Be careful how close your fingers are getting to your blade. If you get stuck, you can lightly baton the end of it into your blade. Okay, so we can do all kinds of things like this. Careful like that. There we go. We're starting to take shape. So what are we trying to do here? We're just trying to thin out this material. I don't care what the shape looks like. For me, it's all about, is it going to be functional for what it's supposed to be used for? This is going to be a spatula for me. I don't care if it's out of shape. I don't care about those things. Is the handle going to be long enough? Is it going to be sturdy enough? And I'm hoping that those answers are all going to be yes. Now, I hate to tell you guys this because I was sure hoping to show you guys all of my tools being made, but I'm getting a battery indicator light on my camera, and this, folks, is my last battery. So if I die on my battery, I will hopefully have enough juice on one of them to at least show you the tools. So I'm kind of push cutting with my thumb here. Some wood flying at you guys. Wouldn't be fun without wood flying at the camera, would it? If I have a good rock, I can go over to the rock and rub it against the rock and use the rock like sandpaper. It might not be like a spatula that you would pick up at the store. We don't expect it to be, but we do expect it to be functional, right? In the field. Right now I'm doing a very careful task of putting an edge on the tip of the blade here. And I'm just using my knife and I'm trying to make tiny push cuts. I have this other piece of wood here, and this piece of wood is going to be a spoon. So again, just like I did with the spatula, I'm going to take a small piece of charcoal and I'm going to try to draw the shape of the item. Okay, obviously we're going to have a handle, right? So I'm going to draw the item, and I want to try to get somewhere close to the shape of what I'm looking for. My battery's like down to 1 bar, so I'm going to just get started and I'll be back to show you what I have. I like this gouge that has the little wood part on it better. Seems to work a little better for me. Now, if I didn't have these tools, what I would be doing is I would be taking hot coals out of the fire and setting them in there, and I'd be blowing on it. And what would happen is that air would heat that coal up and it would be burning the wood out. But that process takes a long time, and I've made implements that way before, but it just takes forever. It's starting to take shape. I got my stop cuts in. Now I'm just trying to move material out of the center. Kind of frustrated that my battery's getting ready to die because I'd like to show more than I'm showing. starting to look like a spoon here. Oops, bit my thumb there. Not too bad. Okay. So now you can see that I have, let me get this cut took care of real quick. Okay folks, I'm back. I got a nice little band-aid on my thumb. Some athletic tape. I had blood on the wood here. So, thank goodness I had athletic tape. Just like this. This will give me my handle. Twist a little bit. There we go. Let's do the other side. Now, one thing that you guys need to understand is when it comes to making an implement like this, we're not, we're not trying to go to a cooking show. We're just trying to make something that's functional that we can use out of some wood. So there's a primitive handle. Got a little bowl there. Got a nice rounded edge, because remember the way that wood was, it was already rounded. So that's kind of cool. That saves me a lot of work. Start back here, start pushing them forward. Then when you get a few of them done, then you go to the other side and push back against them the other way. And then it'll make those connections. And then the material just falls right out. So see how I got those loose like that? Almost like feather sticks. And then I come from this side. I go back like this. Hopefully you can see that. It's hard to do this when you're filming. So then you see they kind of connect and then they kind of fall out. Then you come to the side, start digging in, ripping this stuff out, figuring out which ones need to be done. But I think we have the middle of this dug deep enough that it's going to serve very well as a spoon. Stick that baby in and then just kind of get it where you want it. Just kind of pop it, kind of hit it, very gentle. Don't want to push too crazy and rip the whole side of your spoon off or something. So we're pretty close there. Now it's just a matter of rounding these edges and cleaning this stuff up and getting it where it's food grade ready. We don't want all of that in there. So we'll clean up the back side. Okay, let's work on the handle a little bit. Don't want to mess up a nice spoon after you spend all that time digging that hole out, to go slamming into it and knocking that whole chunk off. So let's be careful right there. Right there, nice little easy push cuts, and then we're just kind of use the blade of our knife to kind of dig into there. Now going downward though, yeah, you can really get after it going downward. Right there. There we go. Let's do the same thing right here and see if it works for us. Just like that. I think I'm going to call that good, folks. So that'll be my spoon. My apology that this might seem a little bit rushed. I'm running really bad, really out of time on my battery. So I'm going to try to make a pair of fire tongs very quickly. So I have a little bit of bank line, number 36, and I have a piece of tamarack here. But I'm going to baton down a little bit. So what this is going to be useful for is grabbing wood out of the fire and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of getting a little thin where I wanted it to. I didn't want it to be that thin, but it is what it is. So I'm going to take a small piece of wood and I'm going to stick it down inside, just like this. Now I'm going to take my bank line and I'm going to make a nice little S like this. You see that? I'll wrap this line, hold it with my broken thumb here. I'm going to come around and I'm going to come on this side of this line. And I'm just going to keep going around. I'm going to lash this thing around nice and good, nice and tight. What this will do is this will prevent this from continuing to unravel. So it'll give it a stopping point is what it'll do. So I need plenty of cordage. And it doesn't have to be like gorilla tight. Just want it snug. So I'm just going to go around a few times. I should have made that tail there a little longer, but kind of rushed here because I'm running out of battery and I'm trying to get this on film. And I want to get as close to this piece of wood as I can, so I'm just coming around, lashing around. Nothing crazy, I'm just making sure that they're against the one before them. Just like this. And what this does, again, is this keeps it from spreading. It stops it from spreading. Because we did want to spread it a little bit to make the tongs, but we didn't want it to be too crazy. So we're just about there. See how pretty that looks? And once I get to here, I'm going to start cinching it up. When I get on that last little bit, I'm going to stick this working end through. See if we can get that through. I have a bowline tied to here in the end because I was using it as a bowstring earlier. So let's pull that bowline through. You don't need to use a bowline. Now we got it through. You can see that. I'm going to pull this piece right here. Hopefully I can get a hold of it. There, I think I got it a little bit tighter. Little bit. It's not quite what I wanted it to be. Yep, that did the trick. That tightened that baby really nice. So there is my piece. Thank goodness for the multi-tool. So there's my fire tongs. Now I'm going to take this excess and I'm just going to kind of wrap inside because I want to hold this piece in. So I'm just going to go around a couple times. Just to hold that piece in. Nothing too crazy. And if I could tie these together, that would probably be nice. But if not, no worries. Let's go right here. Let's pull that baby in. There we go. Now we have some tongs. Let's grab the coals. We could also handle hot rocks for stone boiling and things like that. So that is my fire tongs. I want to say thank you for joining me today. This concludes Block 6, Module 2, Food Prep. I had a lot of fun. I'll probably make another set of these fire tongs because this got a little thinner than I had planned and I didn't really terminate right on the end. I mean, they're going to be functional, they're going to work, but I think I'll end up redoing these. This spoon, I really like it. It turned out good. It's not prettiest thing in the world, but I'm not done. I'm going to end up rubbing it around on rocks to try to get that nice rounded look, and so it won't be so squared looking. And I'll continue to whittle a little bit with my knife, but the depth that the spoon is, I mean, if it's one whole digit of my finger almost. I really like the way that turned out. The spatula, kind of the same idea. I got thin enough, and this will work good if I'm going to be cooking, if I'm rock frying, or if I have cast iron out here and I want to use this to cook ground beef or something like that. I mean, that or the spoon. So I'm really happy with both of those. I know they look kind of silly. And this little spoon, I like it. It works good. I've already used it before. Got a little knock off the back of it here, but those are my implements that I've made. So I want to say thank you again for watching. I hope you got some good, useful information. Please feel free to leave comments down below. Like this video, share this video. And if you like the content that you see on my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Now stay tuned for Module 3. We're going to be talking about staying warmer. We'll see you next time.